Hello and welcome to Destiny. I'm joined by David Scammell and Stephen Burns.
Hi.
Hi.
Together, I think we've spent about 8 hours with this game, haven't we?
Around that.
Time,
so
yeah.
Burns, I reckon what you've played. You've probably played slightly more than us, maybe.
Just
a little bit more.
maybe, not too much, but
So
there it is, the double jump of freedom.
Oh, it's the best thing about this game, I think. But yeah, this is going to be generally just a kind of first impressions thing. We're still just scratching the surface of Destiny. And we're on Venus now, so
Yeah.
things are different.
Yeah, things have changed, as Bob Dylan
And it's
said.
got some lovely water.
Yeah.
So, what are you guys thinking about Destiny so far?
Dave, you go
First
first.
day.
You go first.
Where
What
we
do I
at?
think about Destiny?
Mm-hmm.
I was very excited for Destiny,
Yep.
and now perhaps not so much.
Really?
I think it's going to divide people. I don't think it's going to live up to the hype based on first impressions. So, right, I think it's great. I think it has that loop of get new loot, level yourself up, and has that tick, right, that works for a lot of people. At the same time, I think the actual design of the game, I think the mission design is actually quite lazy. And I think that might put a lot of people off. So from what we've seen so far, it seems to be very repetitious. So you will...
But very much so. Like you could say, you go onto planets and go and do various missions, and you could say that about any game, but these ones, they are the same. They're very much the same.
I mean, even the enemy variants, the only difference seems to be in the colour of them.
Yeah, you get. I think actually, going to Venus, they have like a blue, armor set to them, I think. But yeah, we've been fighting dregs since the very start of this game.
But I'm yet to see a mission that isn't run through the place you've already been to, shove down your thing that's basically Guilty Spark,
The Dinklebot.
and protect him from hordes of enemies.
Or
Waves.
kill the boss.
Or kill a boss.
It's that's been our experience throughout that. We were streaming the game yesterday for about 8 hours, and almost every mission we did was that.
And you know what? That type of mission is fine, but when it's repeated for at least 8 hours,
Yeah.
it gets very dull.
Yeah, and you know what? We yesterday were making a lot of comparisons to Borderlands in the sense that it's a game that meant to be played in co-op. I think you're encouraged to be in a fire team.
Yeah.
It will be more entertaining. The enemies are repeated, but it's about getting new weapons and getting new stuff and just that kind of sense of progression all the time. But I think Borderlands disguises that a little bit better. It throws more variety at you than I've seen in Destiny so far. Just in terms of the weapons that we've been able to use, I just don't feel like I haven't seen enough things change so far, and that's been the disappointing part. Because outside of that, it's ticking all the right boxes. This is a bloody wonderful looking game. It sounds great. It's like a lot of that Bungie polish that we were expecting is there, like the way the guns fire, the way the game works is great, but the actual structure of how the missions work is really disappointing.
It looks really nice. The shooting is great, but it's just these other things that are just lacking that.
Do you know what it lacks for me? Feeling of adventure. It feels like it doesn't. It always feels like you're on mission, just in a certain point, and then when it's done,
you are on mission.
Yeah, because the game just goes now bye, and it deliberately ends the mission for you once you finish your objective. And I don't feel like I can go. What's that? What's up here? What's on this mountain? And
considering the amazing environments you're in, there is a lack of exploration, really.
And I get it. Like these are dungeons essentially, right? But it's still. I think a lot of people, and especially a lot of the marketing stuff, has been like, it's you can fly to Mars, but you don't fly to Mars. You're a grunt, you just get dropped off in Mars, and then you got to shoot shit in Mars, and then you go home. And I feel like I've got got a wife and kids at home that are just waiting for me to come back.
The next paycheck. Yeah. And it's got loads of the building blocks are there. Like the fact that you've just walked into a fight there, and there are already 2 players around you, and that wasn't planned, you just kind of stumbled into that. That's great. That's the kind of stuff this game should be about. But you didn't even interact with that player. He's off on his mission.
Yeah. You're
off on yours. That'll do you. Maybe you'll stop and have a dance. That's the kind of level of interaction I've had so far. And I think what really will help this game is if you are intending to play it with co-op, from the start with some of your friends. Much in the same way as playing a game like Borderlands. I don't want to make so many comparisons to Borderlands. I didn't want to, but I feel like that is it's that with this added multiplayer layer on top.
I felt like there'd be so much to say about it, but I think if you've played the beta, you know what to expect. Like I don't think we've learned anything new about this game from 8 hours of playing through the final.
I mean, we've seen a little bit more of the story stuff.
But have we?
But most of that is done. We
still don't know what's going on.
Most of that is being done through Dinklage being the companion and kind of commenting on each area. All I know is that
there's aliens out here we need to shoot, and there's some queen that is up to stuff.
So, start making trouble in the neighbourhood.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I sound quite negative about it, and I don't mean to. I just think it's one of those that's been hyped up so much, and there's been so many promises made for it, and the way that Bungie speak, the way that you can tell they're proud of the game, but the language they use and the way that they hype it up, it makes it feel like it should be more of an event than actually what I think it is. I'm not convinced it does anything new.
I remember
that you haven't already seen in other games.
I think it's a fair point. I mean, this is a game that they've said is going to have a huge lifespan, years of content is going to come out of Destiny.
What's just DLC, right?
We've been playing it for a day and it's starting to feel like if we're already talking about repetition now, it doesn't.
If it's years of this, I'm not interested.
Yeah. I mean, the stuff that we haven't managed to jump into yet, and hopefully this will be where the game shines, is the kind of multiplayer PvP. We haven't delved into that yet. Yeah. I'm really hoping there's something there.
One thing I'm really disappointed in is going to the new areas, the new planets. I was really hoping for new enemy types because these are the same guys.
Well, I mean, you get a few new ones along the way, but largely so. The dregs and the vandals are there.
Are street gangs. Maybe that's the story.
People will say but Halo had the same enemies all the way through it. True, but I think Halo had their characters had a certain amount of personality.
And there was a sense of progression in Halo. You were, in that campaign.
Well, there was more of a campaign.
You felt like you were pushing a story,
forward,
right? This is get a mission.
All I'm pushing here is commerce. It feels. I'm pushing for me to buy stuff and then use it to shoot more stuff.
There's a lot of
buy stuff to shoot stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of satisfaction in leveling up and getting new gear and stuff like that. But again, that's not a Destiny thing. That's just the way that video games are. So
I mean, this is what the most pre-ordered new IP ever, right? Destiny.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So a lot of people will have bought into that hype. Maybe not expecting what this gig. Oh man! But then again, you look up there and it is lovely. But
that's the thing. Like that said, there are still those moments where you think, actually, I'd really quite like to play through this. But
I wonder how long you can keep saying that. Like how long can you keep saying yes, but it is pretty. You have noticed that?
It's just that weird thing where I am still interested in playing it. I would still like to play through it, but am I playing through it because of what it is rather than what it does?
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Because it's the big new Bungie game.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
I don't know.
How's it going, Steve, on the combat front?
Well,
you double jumping to safety. Now, I remember this being a key part of our campaign yesterday.
Double jumping to safety is the key to surviving almost any encounter in the game. Including running over your own grenades. So yeah, I think that's part of the repetition as well, is that the strategies that I'm using, they don't seem to be evolving. There was one point where you get a massive sword. You're like, that's cool.
Yeah.
You never get to use that again. This guy's just
that was just that was like the relic that was in for a certain area, right?
Yeah.
You go into third person, which is kind of weird. I found it really strange because obviously you go back into third person when you go back to the tower, largely so you can check out your cool new armor, which I'm all about. I think that's smart, but it kind of highlights how quickly your characters move around. Like you move very, very fast, and it looks kind of silly.
Where are the big moments? Like you look back on Halo and like the Scarab or the clothes, like the chases at the end.
Yeah.
But there haven't been any like decent set pieces in this that I've seen so far. I mean, are there any that you can remember from your
No,
first?
there's been nothing really big.
There's been bits that look nice where you'll have like drop ships coming in and the way that they'll appear in the sky and drop the enemies out. That looks nice. But
Cool.
but again, that's just a wave section, right? And there's nothing really that I'd say stood out.
I feel
as being...
like if there are going to be big set pieces, they are going to have to limit them to the dungeon areas where it is instanced and you're not with just other random players.
Where are the memories? Do you know what I mean? Like, I guess
Where are
that's
the memories?
that sounds like a really wanky thing to say. But but that's the thing. Like when a game like this, and maybe the memories are made with friends. Oh, I remember that bit where we were in the tower and I danced in front of I don't know the Queen or anything like that. Maybe that's where the fun stuff is at. But so far, it just seems to be, these dudes need killing.
And
can you believe yet more people need killing?
I hope you do get a new gun when you've killed these people, Steve.
That's another thing, the loot stuff. It doesn't seem to be...
You know what? We'll go back to another Borderlands reference. The loot that we've got in this game seems to have largely come from either purchasing from merchants or from completing missions and you get rewards.
Yeah.
We're not, Borderlands goes out of its way to present ridiculous, over-the-top chests full of weapons.
And you know what? I don't think that's perfect at all because I think that's quite overwhelming. And you're like, oh, another gun. Like they kind of become meaningless because there's so much of it.
But this is the other end of that. Because we're not really getting.
You don't really know what you're picking up until.
And we haven't had enough reason to explore. I'm sure there are hidden bits that we.
But explore what?
Start looking into. Exactly. It feels like.
It's very linear. It feels quite linear.
I can't just go, right, get in my super bike and fly around. I go, I've got to go where this arrow is pointing now.
This isn't
I can go over here, but that's very obvious, right? It's like...
Go over there. See if you can go over there. What is that? I want to find out what that is.
Right.
What's this?
Can you not... Wait, where are you going to try and double jump from here? Go across there.
See, stuff like this, I wish... Because we never found this yesterday. We played this for like hours.
Good double jump, Stephen Burns.
I invented double jump in
There's
this
your
game.
chest. And
so just some dollars.
I guess maybe when they first started talking about it, and you're right, Steve, when they were like, you can go to Mars, you can do all this. I was expecting worlds that were kind of like mini Fallout worlds, almost.
Maybe something a bit more like Mass Effect, you know?
Really?
Yeah.
The final thing is more like Mass Effect.
No, maybe you thought that you could just jump onto Mars and then cut around for a little bit and then go off.
Right, I see.
Instead of just coming into the planet and being in the fight, the fight would be out there and you had to get to it.
And maybe that is an endgame thing. Maybe once you've done all the missions.
But I see what you mean. At the moment, we're not landing on Venus. We're landing on a mission in Venus.
Yeah.
And that's not really what we were hoping for. Now this means we're going into an instanced area now, so random players couldn't follow you in. To this.
And it also seems to be like you'll always go through the same areas. So one of the things that we were discussing yesterday was whenever a mission finishes, you're always thrown back to the not to the tower, but up into space, up into orbit. And you then have to select another mission to go into, and often it seems to be you'll run through the area that you've just run through, grind through that again to get to the new area. I just wish it would be kind of here's your next mission, and you can just progress through the map essentially in one go.
Make that jump. This is pretty cool.
That looks lovely, doesn't it?
Do you think I can make it?
I don't.
Over to there?
If I had a...
You're overestimating your double jump here, Stephen Burns.
I don't think that's the way you're meant to go, Burns, at all.
Oh man! For a moment there, I thought you were going to make it.
There was a moment, wasn't there?
Yeah, you were just hanging. Oh, that was unfortunate.
Misadventure.
A fine way to die. So is that taking you back just to the start of it?
I don't know. I feel like if it wasn't so hyped, maybe we'd be talking about it slightly differently.
Maybe, but I don't. Like, so in this, if you had your team with you, right?
Yeah.
If you had your boys, it's clearly obvious that one guy would go up there with a sniper rifle, a couple of the other guys would come around here, and that would, it would make it a lot, probably a lot more enjoyable. But at the same time, you still have the same stuff,
Yep. There's some more vandals to kill.
And people, I think, I was asking myself this question this morning. It's like, Steve, you've been playing it single player for
Looking
a lot
in the
of
mirror.
it, and in the morning, just
Yeah.
like, am I doing this right? And then I thought, one of my favourite games of all time is Left 4 Dead, and that people play that single player, and it's like, well, it's not meant to be. But I think the difference there is that in Left 4 Dead, in all the campaigns, you're pushing something, and you're pushing towards an end, an escape. Whereas in this, you're pushing an instance, and those instances don't seem to change very much. Whereas in Left 4 Dead, each of those campaign stages has like a crescendo moment, has a team play element to it. Whereas we've gone through a lot of this game in single player, just like, yeah, I can do this. Like, which I suppose is great if you don't have friends that you can play with all the time.
Yeah, it definitely needs to be able to do that.
But I've got to shoot this thing.
Just mix it up, man. Just mix it up.
Oh, it's getting tough now, guys.
Oh god, yeah, we've done this fight before. Servitors don't mess around. Yeah, I know. I almost feel like I'm guilty for writing the game off without seeing the end game stuff, without seeing
It's too early to write
what the multiplayer PvP is going to do.
We're not writing it off. It's just initially, like, I don't know. It's perhaps not. We've not enjoyed it as much as we were hoping for.
No.
It's as simple as that, really. So
yeah, should we wrap it with that there? I guess that's our first impressions of Destiny.
yeah,
It looks lovely, doesn't it? Don't you think it looks lovely?
it looks great.
Whoa.
It looks very, very nice, and it is fun. It's just quite tedious. So,
But it looks lovely.
yeah.
Right. Okay. Thank you guys. We'll come back to it throughout the week. Of course, it's Destiny week.
Exactly.
Like we'd be doing anything else. And Steve, you've got to play this. You're going to be here in this room
Forever.
Okay.
shooting vandals
Yeah.
until the job's done.
Over and over and over.
Oh, these sandals are, Well, I need a sword. This game needs a sword.
All right then. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and we'll be back with Destiny. It's probably later today, to be honest. Cheers. Bye.
Bye.
Well, that'll give you something to fiddle your diddle to, won't it? And if you want more, just subscribe.